All right, let's look at this example. We have x squared is equal to negative 2x plus 2. So first I need to figure out which method I'm going to use. I see that I have that x value or the bx term, so I know I'm going to use factoring or quadratic formula. And for both of those, I need to make sure that the equation is set equal to 0. So I'm going to try and move these guys to the other side. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. And I am also going to subtract 2 from both sides. So I'm going to put all that together. I have the x squared plus the 2x and then minus 2. So now I have that whole equation set equal to 0. So step 1 is done. I'm going to try my t-chart to see if I can factor. When I do my t-chart, none of the values will work. So that tells me that I get to use quadratic formula. So quadratic formula, we're going to label A, B, and C. Remember, the value in front of x squared is a 1. So there's my A value. My B value is what's in front of the x, which is 2. And then my C value is just the number, which is negative 2. Make sure you take the sign of whatever the values are. All right, I have my A, B, and C. Now I'm going to plug all of those into my formula. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times my A value times my C value. Whenever that is negative, I like to put it in parentheses so I know it's negative, all divided by 2 times my A value of 1. Okay, I have plugged it into my formula. Now I am going to simplify just what's under the square root. So just this guy here. Start with PEMDAS. Remember, we're going to do our exponents first. So 2 times 2 is 4. Copy down the rest. Now I'm going to multiply all this guy over here. Oh, you guys can't see. Hold on. All right, there we go. So I'm going to multiply all this guy over here. So I'm going to say 4. I have 2 negatives. Negative times a negative gives me a positive. So plus 4 times 1 is 4 times 2 is 8. So 4 plus 8, which will give me 12. So again, be very careful when you have multiple negatives there. All right, I'm going to rewrite this guy. X is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 12. All divided by the bottom can simplify. 2 times 1 gives me 2. Okay, at this point, I need to keep going with my square root. I'm going to see if I can break up 12. 12 can be broken up into 3 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. I can't break it up any further. I'm going to look for pairs of the same number, which is 2. That's going to come out, and my lonely 3 is going to stay on the inside. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root 3, all divided by 2. So now that I have it in this form, my very last step is just to simplify. So I'm only going to be looking at the values that are not under the square root. So this 3 right here, he's protected. I'm not going to worry about him anymore, and I'm just going to look at these values here. So notice that everything is being divided by 2. So I'm like, oh, what number can all 3 of those numbers be divided by? It's 2. So I am going to divide out a 2 from every single one of these values. So this becomes negative 1 plus or minus 1 square root 3, all divided by 1. Anything divided by 1 is just 1. And a lot of times when there's a 1 in front of the radical, we don't write it because we assume it to be there. So this is really negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 3, and that is our final answer. Sometimes they'll break it up into like negative 1 plus square root 3 and negative 1 minus square root 3, but a lot of times, especially if you are choosing a multiple choice answer, they're just going to write this. So again, when I am to this step here, make sure that every single one of those 3 values can be divided by the same number, and that's what you're dividing out and not touching the square root 3. He's protected. All right, if you guys have questions, come find me. If not, I will see y'all in the next one.